O Angelo Palleta é um canadense que mora na cidade de Burlington e ele adora carro. Na casa dele, ele construiu lá uns galpões gigantescos para guardar sua coleção, que é enorme. É grande mesmo, né? E ele às vezes recebe as pessoas para conhecer os seus carros, até aluga o espaço para eventos, né? Agora, ele é aficionado mesmo pelos esportivos da Ford. E ele abriu sua casa para essa reportagem para mostrar para a gente um pouco da sua coleção.
I'm Angelo Palleta from Burlington. This is the car cathedral. So this one here is a 2006 Canadian spec Ford GT. This car had 24.5 miles on when I bought the car. It's never been plated. It has 29 miles on it. All those miles have been done in my driveway. And this is really a super pristine car. It is a collector's item with the original stickers, plastic on the seats, the original window stickers from the factory. And you see it's a Canadian spec car because you actually see the Canadian flag on the windshield. So this Ford GT is actually the first Ford GT I purchased. It's the American racing colors, white with blue stripe. This is more of a daily driver for me. It's been on rallies in the States. One thing that's really neat about this car is we did in honor of Carroll Shelby when he passed away, and he actually signed the center console on this car. This is an exact recreation of the 1968-69 double Le Mans winner. It's a recreation of car 1075. It's the only car to win Le Mans 2 years in a row. Ford actually used this car on display when they launched a 2006 Canadian Ford GT. But what's really unique about this car, it's exactly what it was built in the 60s. So the roof comes out with the door. It has the fuel cells are actually in the door sill, and there's two, one on each side. This has the full 5-point harness. You can still see the little rings. That was ventilation. Right-hand drive, right-hand shift, and you'll see the actual inside here. You see all the switches, which Ford then reproduced in 2006 when they built the 2005-2006 Ford GT. They used a similar style switch to keep the authenticity of the car. So this has true 48 IDA Webers. Everyone knows the bundle of snakes, which was the exhaust for the cars back then, and has a 5-speed ZF transaxle. So mid-engine mounted car, transaxle behind it, the clamshell like they had in the 60s. As I said, this is about 95% accurate to the original car. So this is the car that won Le Mans from 66 to 69. Now we move to 2016, 2017, and the new Ford GT that won Le Mans 50 years later in 2016. And they created a street car at the same time they created a race car. These cars were basically designed and built simultaneously so that the street version mimics the race car. Obviously, there's things in a race car you can't put in a street car, but ultimately, this is the same as the race car. It's an amazing feat of engineering. It's another piece of rolling art. So the interior of this car was also custom ordered. It's called Launch Control, and it's the orange that matches the spacesuits from the astronauts when they were going to one of their space shuttle runs. Carbon fiber interior, the paddles, all the controls are on the steering wheel, and you can drive it. It's another great piece. This is a 2009 GT500 KR edition, basically a remake of the 1968 KR that Shelby came out with. One of only 22 in Canada. Neat car, lots of power, very tight, supercharged, cold air intake, carbon fiber piece here. But the Shelby caps were stock with the car. over the coolant reservoirs. Handles very well, and it's a good daily driver. This is a very unique piece. This is an original Shelby Cobra, all aluminum, an original 427 side oiler motor, and NASCAR big spline 4-speed top loader. What's very unique about that is that both of those pieces were built by Bill Parson from Southern Automotive, and he actually built transmissions and engines for Shelby in the 60s. It's number 2 of only 12 American-made cars. Another neat piece about this car has aluminum inner wheel fenders. It's the only one in the world that I know of that has that, and it was actually done by a gentleman who apprenticed in England making the aluminum bodies for Ace for Shelby. The engine on this car is spectacular. All original, 427 side oiler. The car's only got about 200 miles on the car. I'm the only person to ever drive this car. I found it in a warehouse in San Jose, California. It had been purchased by the gentleman in 1997, second year after Shelby started again, and it sat in his warehouse until I bought it in 2010. Original bias ply tires, and very loud, very hot. And the car's all made by hand. This is a hand-rolled aluminum Shelby Cobra. This is a 2001 Superformance 427 SC Shelby Cobra. These folks have the license to build the cars for Shelby. I got this car in 2001. This was the 3rd car into Canada. The car actually has been signed by Carroll Shelby on the glove box. It has Willwood racing brakes, Bilstein racing shocks. It's the original layout of the 1965 car, has original Smith and Lucas gauges and an original wood steering wheel. Putting out well over 550 horse, 4-barrel carburetor, double pumper, and this car is very light, goes very, very fast. The last car in my mini Ford museum is the 2012 Boss 302 Laguna Seca model. This is one of only 30 in Canada. 2012 was the only year that this car was available in Canada, and the only year that they had the two-tone paint where the spoiler and the roof and side stripes and wheels all matched. And they only built this car for 2 years, 2012 and 2013. This car has the full Recaro racing seats, as well as 5-point harnesses for both the driver and passenger, has no rear seat, and a fully integrated roll cage into the car. This car is also meant for the track. It is a normally aspirated car with approximately 444 horsepower. Great cars, a lot of fun.